So you see, yeah, I mean, the last time UAE and other countries, similar story here, oil and gas, big thing, and then people are wondering, wow, how can this country organize when it's still so much, it wants to drill and then sell. That's the question. But then again, if you listened, if you heard what the officials from the host country said this morning, they said that, well, yes, we still are pumping out, we still are doing gas, but who's buying them? European countries. They are buying them. So you see, the energy politics is so entrenched. It's easy to talk, but then it's very difficult for the world to really, really make that transition away what they committed during COP28. And that is why this summit is supposed to talk. Basically, next year, February 2025 is when they are supposed to submit that, bolder plan. How do they do it then? Because science has shown there is a big hole. But for that, what they're saying is we need money. That's why this is called as the finance COP. And money we can talk about. It's
the money
huge
COP.
issue.
Yeah, so many layers to this. We have been asking our listeners to send in notes about their experiences of climate change, how it's impacted their lives. Stay with us, Navin. Let's take a listen to one of those messages.
My name is Lionel Moshano, speaking from Maputo in Mozambique. I live in a country which is cyclically affected by natural disasters, especially when the rain season begins. What will it take for the world leaders to take the issue of climate change very seriously? Because many countries, especially mine, are paying a heavy price, although they haven't been contributing too much for this climate change that planet is recording.
Hello, my name is Krishni Resha and I'm from Sri Lanka. And yes, climate change is having a drastic effect in Sri Lanka, and over the last 10 years we have seen the effects of climate change, especially affecting our monsoon weather patterns. It has had an effect on the hospitality industry and also of the agriculture industry. What most people don't realize is how climate change has a direct impact on food supplies, on agriculture. And another key point of climate change is how it affects the middle to lower income families. They are the ones who are mostly affected, and they are also the ones who have the least amount of support. So what I would like to ask our world leaders is that they take strong action against those who continue to burn fossil fuels without taking steps to address the effects that they're having, without looking for sustainable solutions, without driving sustainable energy solutions. And also we need to stop our petrochemical products and all the byproducts of petroleum.
Thank you for those messages from Mozambique and Sri Lanka. And Navin, both of them driving home that similar message about taking action against those countries who burn the most fossil fuels, and the fact that those who burn less are suffering the most. What's the conversation around that? Climate finance, essentially, isn't it? Who's going to pay?
So this is the very argument poor countries, or let's say developing countries, are making, that it's the rich countries, developed countries, we've done that, we've got them on all of us into this mess, and therefore they have to pay. Now the thing is, we've been hearing this for so many years now. And see, the thing right now is developed countries have a counter argument. What they're saying is, okay, we hear that, we get that. By the way, the demand now has jumped from billions to trillions. Okay, let's, for example, the Least Developed Countries Bloc, LDCs as they're known. They have issued a statement this morning, and they say they alone need 1 trillion a year beginning 2030. 1 trillion a year. There's another study showing, almost 3 trillion a year, so on and so forth. So, but then going back to that argument, developed countries, what they're saying is, we can talk about how much money now more, but times have changed. There are now new major economies like China, India, Korea, Saudi Arabia perhaps. So they will also have to contribute to this pot, and then we can move ahead. And these countries, the fast emerging economies, new major economies, what they're arguing is, nope, the convention, the UN convention that was signed in 1992, that predates the Paris Agreement, that clearly demarcates between developed and developing countries, and we are still developing countries. That is where, that's the loggerhead. It's not moved. And that is why people are asking, amid that tension, will this question of where is that $1 trillion going to come from, will it be answered?
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the ultimate goal, you mentioned the Paris Agreement there, that aim to keep the global average temperature well below 2 degrees centigrade and ideally below 1.5. Where are we with that? I mean, that number's been floating around. Where are we with it, Navin?
All right, so the science is pretty clear on that. So what science says is by 2030, if we are to keep that 1.5 alive, we'll have to cut down our CO2 emissions by more than 42%. Yeah. Now, what they've found is last year, for example, it went up 1.3%. And again, another figure is if countries, if they all act upon their plan, honestly, what they've submitted, will still be cutting only 2.6%. So imagine we require 42% to be cut down. And if we implemented all the plans that we have today, we will get it down only by 2.6%. Hence, there's another massively ambitious plans required to be submitted by 2025 February. And that's why money is a big talk.
Thank you so much, Naveen Singh Khatka. All the enthusiasm, all the passion as we tackle this conference and try and help you better understand it.